Florida State can get right into the recruiting. And so as you sit here, 25 minutes post game, what do you think Florida State needs? So you're going to have to address offensive line as much as possible again through the portal.
Well, let's just focus on the portal.
Huh?
Yeah. Let's just focus on the portal right now. Because recruiting wise, we need just talent, period. It doesn't matter where it's at. Like high school recruiting wise, we just get the most elite talent no matter what position it's at, because we just don't have a lot of elite talent, period. We have some nice role players and stuff like that, but we need elite talent. So if you can get an elite guy, I don't care what position it's at, you take them at this point. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Because we need everywhere. It's kind of like, the age-old question in the NFL draft. Do you draft for need or do you draft for best player available? At this point, Florida State, you're best player available regardless. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, so people kind of complaining about FSU bringing in Marcus Banks. There's going to be attrition at DB. Florida State needs to get ready. Fans need to get ready for that. You're looking at guys like Demore Tate, who just hasn't panned out. You look at Travis Shea, who's had far and away one of the most disappointing seasons that I can, remember. With expectations, I'll go all the way back to Xavier Lee with how disappointing he's been at Florida State. He could possibly leave. Dotson's graduating. There's some questions if Jones sticks it out at Florida State. There's already depth issues at FSU right now. Now we're talking about losing 3 to 5 players off this roster. So FSU is going at. That's why they're looking at JUCO and looking at the portal. So they got it. A guy like Pittman from Oregon. That, in my opinion, that's a must get in terms of being able to. That guy addresses playmaking ability at receiver, but he also addresses playmaking ability in special teams. The news about Dylan Gabriel entering the portal today. There's going to be a lot of players that are going to be in the portal this year. It's going to be very interesting how it all unfolds.
Yeah. And we talked about that last year, not just us, a lot of people talked about it last year about, without all the visits and stuff that people weren't able to take, last cycle, that there's going to be a lot of freshmen entering the portal, and we are already starting to see that. But we definitely need to get some depth at offensive line that can come in and contribute immediately. And you can't really rely on high school kids that much to be able to provide that kind of stuff. So
correct.
Which we got Bless Harris, great. Get one or at least one more, if not 2 more offensive linemen. And we only lose Love Taylor. So that, if we get 2 more or 1 more, Bless Harris plus 1 more, then, we lose Bavion Johnson too. That gives us 6, maybe 1 more can get us to 7 that we can rely on. Plus, maybe a Willis or an Orr or somebody like that steps up to, to be what we need them to be, or an Estes or a Herring, somebody step up, and now all of a sudden we got 8 or 9 guys, receiver. We have to find somebody like a, Pittman or somebody like that, not even just a playmaker, yes, but somebody who can consistently get open and consistently be a threat downfield and, a true number 1 receiver. If we can get that's really a game changer for the offense. It really is. A number 1 receiver, a couple more offensive linemen, and then if Peyton or Wilson or Shea-Chi Jr., if one of them aren't ready to step in and be a consistent pass rush next year, then we got to get some kind of pass rush threat at for defensive end to replace Johnson and or Thomas. We have to. Adding some depth elsewhere, that's fine to me, but we got to be able to get those 3 positions specifically to be able to compete next year. We get those 3 things and add, some more elite recruits and stuff like that. Then we can compete for 8 wins next year, but we have to be able to find those things.
I think that Florida State, like William says, he mentions about Travis and his inability to stay healthy. I think Florida State needs to find a quarterback. You can't go into next year with Travis, Tate Rodemaker, and AJ Duffy. You need we're 2 years now where Travis just can't stay healthy. There's going to be some point, multiple times in the season, where Travis gets banged up. It's just his playing style. It's what's going to happen. So I think Florida State needs to bring in a quarterback. Do you bring in a guy like Dylan Gabriel who could push for a starting position? Do you do that? I don't know. Not there yet. But
Dylan Gabriel's not pushing for a starting position. If Dylan Gabriel came here, he's starting.
Yeah, he's starting. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs at Georgia Tech enters a portal, you have to go after him.
Absolutely. That's an elite player.
He's an elite running back.
Any elite player, you have to go get him. So if Gabriel's interested, which a lot of that's going to depend on
what happens to Milton.
Well, not even that's what happens to Milton. How Milton views his time at Florida State and how he views Norvell, because those two are best friends. So if Milton's had a great time at Florida State and loves Norvell, which I think he has, and I think he does, he's going to say, Gabriel, Dylan, you got to come here. You can start and you can ball out in this offense. If that's the case, then I think we have a good chance of getting Gabriel. And I think
I'm going to cut you off, but I don't think anyone reading the comments, no Florida State fan is happy with 5-7. Let's put that on the table right now. Florida State is not a 5-7 program, but also you have to really consider and look in the mirror as Florida State fans and see where FSU's been at since 2017. This isn't a quick fix. And I do think that pressure needs to be put on Norvell. He's going to be going into year 3 next year. I think you saw enough progress this season in order to feel not great, but feel good about next year if they can get the parts and pieces they need. But to think that this gets to an 8, 9, 10 win program within 1 to 2 years, 3 years under Norvell, I'm sorry, I don't see that. Just because of how long and how poorly Florida State was ran under the back end of Jimbo, 2 years of Willie, and then you come into everything that's happened under Norvell. So, no, there's not one FSU fan that's happy with 5-7, but you can be happy with the progress to start 0-4 and everything to look as bleak as it did, and to be close to being bowl eligible. It's okay to be pissed off about 5-7, but be happy with progress that has been made this season. And there's a lot of things that need to be addressed, and I'm not going to judge Norvell until he gets his horses in place.
Yeah, I've said it many times. I've said it on the Unconquered Talk podcast and elsewhere. It is very easy to just look at a result 5-7 and say, okay, the coach sucks. Everybody does that. Yeah, that tells nobody anything. No, I'm not talking to you. I'm just talking.
Hold on. I'm putting this comment. Still blaming Jimbo. Jimbo is at fault for 2016-17. Those guys would be redshirt senior leadership guys. So yes, you can still talk about how FSU got to where they're at. You have to talk about Jimbo.
Yep. So it's very easy to sit there and just say, all right, we're 5-7, coach sucks, let's fire him. It's much more difficult to look at the team and say, well, why are we 5-7? Look at quarterback, look at each position and say, okay, well, here's where we have issues. And that's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to say, okay, 5-7 is okay. We're just looking at the issues. Okay, these are the issues. These are where we can get better. And everybody's always just points to, okay, 5-7, coach sucks, let's get rid of him. You can say we have all these depth issues, and we have issues at receiver and issues on the offensive line and issues at in the defensive backfield, issues at linebacker, issues at quarterback, without saying the coach is great. Nope. We haven't even said coach sucks or coach great. We haven't said any of that. We're just talking. These are where we have issues personnel wise, and those issues are killing us, and those issues make it harder on coaching. So is Norvell a great coach, a sucky coach? I don't know. A lot of things will work themselves out in the end, but to sit here and say he sucks with all the personnel issues we have is just very short-sighted and very narrow-minded to just sit there and just look at that. Like, we have a lot of issues. Norvell's job is going to be to fix those issues, period. So let's give him time to do that before we just up and get rid of him or not give him support.
And how many times we have to say, oh, let's fire Norvell. Let's fire a coach back to back after 2 seasons. Get a great coach in here. No, you won't.
No. Look,
you won't get jack shit for a coach at Florida State if you go and fire Coach Norvell after 2 years, after doing the same thing to Willie Taggart. You won't get jack shit as your coach.